Hi, I'm Jennifer Phillips Russo, and you are listening to Between the Vines. Welcome back. Today's episode, we have almost an entire Lake Erie Regional Grape Program team with us. So, co host Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hey Jen, how are you?
I am tired. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't
It's
believe
that
that
time of year, huh?
I know, and it's the end of July, and most of our grower meetings for the season have been concluded with a couple, actually,
Yeah.
one very big one that we want to talk about here in a minute, which is why we have Megan Luke with us today. Megan, I'm going to let you give yourself an introduction because it's not very often that you're with us on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. So Megan Luke, I am on the Penn State side in viticulture, and I also specialize in pesticide application best practices. So a lot of times I'm out in the field or out doing sprayer calibrations, especially in the summer, but I'm really happy to be on today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And I know we have a big event that coming up that we would like to talk about. But because we've grabbed everybody's attention about the work that you do on our team, do you want to give a brief overview of what we've been talking about at our grower meetings? And I know this is impromptu to you. You didn't know I was going to ask you this, but basically on the water quality and what you talked about at our meeting Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, after our entire coffee pot meeting series, every Wednesday from the beginning of May till the end of July, it's kind of autopilot at this point, I think.
Right. So, which is why I didn't think it would be bad to ask you to reiterate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no problem. So a lot of the work that I've been doing around the region, as I just mentioned, we do offer through the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program and Penn State as a statewide program, on-site sprayer calibrations for air blast sprayers, and also some of the multi-row application machines that folks in our region use. So what that really entails is I get to go out to farms and we get to hook up I call it my very over-engineered bucket, but what we do is we collect all of the output from each nozzle at the same time, and we can look at what the coverage array is per individual nozzle from the machine. What I've really seen throughout the region is, our growers are fantastic at doing those standard field calibrations. If they say that they're putting on 50 or 100 gallons per acre, they are usually within even a few ounces sometimes, which is
Wow.
fantastic. It means, really our folks are really conscientious of the amount of pesticide they're applying and are very, very aware of that. Now, what happens sometimes though is that you'll have individual nozzles or orifices that will wear out. You'll have ones that just get a little bit clogged. There's a lot of filter settings, things like that. You'll have one side of the machine putting out slightly more or less than the other. And what ends up happening is even though you're putting out the amount of material that you think you are, it's not going where you think it is. And something that I've been able to share is that, I do usually about 15 on-site calibrations per season. And in the last 4 years that I've been participating in the program, I'm yet to go out for a site visit and not find at least one issue um, with the coverage with the machine. And again, that can range from, you have one nozzle that's putting out way too much and one nozzle that's partly clogged. And that's enough to you might be putting out the same amount of material, but it's enough to cause some streaking. It's enough to cause issues with your coverage going forward, especially with those bigger machines where you follow the same path through the vineyard a lot of the time when you have a 3 or 4 row sprayer. You can see more issues because it's the same areas that are getting a little less or a little more every time. And so we've been able to help a lot of folks with those issues. It's always a learning experience. There's a lot of different types of sprayers out there, so it's a nice way to connect with the growers too, and have time to kind of talk about other issues they may be having, and concerns that they have on their operation. So it's a great program.
Oh, I agree 100%. And I think we have learned so much where a lot of our growers, like you mentioned, said, no, no, everything's fine. It's calibrated, it's putting out. But then I have walked through vineyards and I've said, what did you do here? And it is obviously where one of those nozzles isn't working the way it's supposed to be working because there's powdery mildew streaked all through the vineyard.
Yep, or it's like one row, like one particular row is having issues or one particular level of the canopy.
Mhm.
And so it's really nice to be able to just have that visual too with those with the calibration frames and be able to see what's going on. You can't because a lot of these issues you couldn't see from the cab of a tractor, and in many cases you wouldn't even really be able to see it if you stood behind and watched the machine operate because, visually it's a pretty subtle difference, but when it comes down to you could have a nozzle putting out half the rate you're expecting. That's enough to really impact your program. And the other piece that comes up a lot is water quality. And we it's some of those things that you say that you should be doing all the time, kind of like the jar test. It's a tool at our disposal, but when you're in the middle of a season and you're just going about
Fast and furious.
fast and furious, just trying to get stuff done, especially if you're doing like if you have multiple tasks back to back, it can be hard just to do the little simple things. But particularly last year when we had that drought, I noticed that there was a significant shift in water quality throughout the growing season. And for folks that have processor bound commodities, obviously you can't use surface water to spray anything going to fresh market per FSMA. But folks that still use surface water for processor bound grapes, what we would see, and even in private wells too, where you have a lower water level than usual, some of those minerals that just exist naturally in the water will tend to concentrate, which can raise the pH of the water. And a high pH is one of the major issues with a lot of pesticides. Chemically, it can change their efficacy in terms of like neutralizing the active ingredients. It can um, actually change the amount of time that they're effective for once they've left the tank. And then with surface water in particular, if you have any organic materials, like a little bit of like even single cell algae, or if you have clay or any sort of organic matter, those materials can actually bind up the active materials or the active ingredients within your pesticide materials. And by the time they leave the tank, they've been neutralized. Um, I did have an opportunity to do a really fun class last March with some vegetable growers where we combined different unknown chemicals together, which were
Mhm.
just household chemicals. But when you combine them together, there was a reaction that would occur. And what we were able to demonstrate as a group was that these reactions happen very fast. So again, it's something that you might not see in the pesticide in the tank for your sprayer. If you're not really, really paying attention, and you really don't want your face down in there anyway. So it kind of brought us
Yeah.
back to, yeah, don't put your face in your pesticide tank. That's not
Worker
best
protection.
practices. Yeah, worker protection, proper PPE, all of that. But what it came down to was knowing your water quality and doing your jar test was really important because some of these reactions are pretty subtle. They happen very quickly. And if they do occur, you could be essentially just throwing away your pesticides or turning them into water. So testing your water and knowing your pH and knowing what the pH is what the optimum pH, sorry, is for the particular pesticide you're using, is very critical. And I did say most pesticides prefer a lower pH. That's not true for everything. There's always an exception. So make sure you're reading your labels and double checking um, where that falls. But definitely litmus paper strips. I really like the test strips you use for swimming pools because they have
Mhm.
a couple other parameters that could be useful. But they're pretty cheap. It only takes a couple of seconds just to put the test strip in your source water. And as long as you're at least testing each day that you're spraying, that should be plenty to inform your decision making and make any adjustments as necessary. So those are just a couple of fun things that we've seen around the region in the last couple of years. But again, it's a cheap fix, it's a simple fix, and it can really, really save you a lot of money in your pesticide program by making sure that your products remain as effective as possible through the mixing process.
I do like that when we started talking about putting a program like this together for LERGP, when you joined the team, we had a discussion on going back to basics. And it is that back to basics that could save you a lot of money because it does get thrown out in our busy schedules. So I think it's been very eye-opening to our growers in this region and the surrounding areas that you've gone to, and extremely helpful in helping us be more productive and efficient in our work. So thank you for all of that work that you've done. And we have heard from a lot of growers as well how much they appreciate that part of the program. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. It's something I really enjoy.
Yeah. And you're very good at it. So if you are one of our members, please, and I, here we go, squirrel, as I'm thinking of my brain's moving faster than my mouth wants to go. If you are a member of our program, you do have access to Megan's program of that. And if you are Penn State and in the area, you also have access to that. But I do think it's important that maybe sometime during the winter, we put together things that you have learned and do a back to basics article for the growers out there to access and just use as a simple check sheet.
Sure.
I think
Yep.
that's a great idea. Look at me. I sometimes have one. So actually, this all ties into what we really wanted to chat about today,
Yeah.
and that is the program that you and Andrew have been working very diligently on, and it's coming up. So I'm going to stop talking and let the two of you chat about it.
We, like Jen, you mentioned, we're going through the year and we've had all these coffee pots and field days and programs throughout the year. This is kind of the finale for the active growing season before we get into harvest season. But um, we've put together a sprayer technology demo day, and it's going to be here at the Cornell lab um, in Portland, New York, on Route 20. And it's going to be on August 12th. It's going to be an all-day event going from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the idea or the agenda for this event is we're going to have half the day in the classroom with some um, of our of extensions, excuse me, extensions best uh, sprayer technology experts, and then we're going to have the other half of the day looking at demonstrations of some of the equipment. Um, I don't know how we want to tackle it. Do we want to talk about the speakers first, or do we want to talk about the equipment that we're going to have? What would you say, Megan?
Yeah, I think it's good to talk about the speakers first. We're really
Agreed.
excited because this is a collaboration event. Penn State and Cornell, obviously, we work together all the time. But for this one, we also have Washington State, Michigan State, also represented. Michael Reinke has been one of the foremost researchers in drone tech using drone technology as part of your pesticide application program in specialty crops. And we're lucky enough to have him out as well as a Central New York drone operations service that will be here to actually demonstrate the drone technology. He has 3 years of data where he was doing a direct comparison of spray application with standard air blast and drones in Concord grapes. So this is our
Yeah.
first opportunity to talk to somebody who's done the work in Concord specifically. So he has some really interesting findings that he's going to share, and also some pros and cons of
Hmm.
moving into drone uh, usage over a traditional air blast sprayer. So we're really excited about that presentation, and that will be followed in the afternoon by a demonstration with a spray drone. Gwen Hoheisel is with Washington State, and she's one of the folks that has provided me some training that I've brought to folks in our region. And Gwen has been recognized internationally as one of the leading researchers in sprayer technology. And her focus is not so much the newer technology like drones and robotics. A lot of her research has focused on optimizing and improving coverage with existing or older model sprayers. So this is one of those pieces that for folks that may not be going out to buy an autonomous uh, spray unit, which we will have on site too. There's a collaboration with the USDA that Michael Reinke's been working with um, with a researcher there to bring an autonomous unit that is a it's a spray unit that will move through the vineyard without any human in the operating cab. So that's exciting too. But for folks that aren't interested in the latest and greatest as far as that goes, we do have programming around retrofits and just improving your spray program with what you're working with. Just to
Yeah.
demonstrate that, you don't always have to invest a lot of money to improve the performance of the equipment that you have. So we really wanted to make sure that we were kind of covering all of those bases. I always make up a new word on these podcasts, I feel like.
I do it all the time. It's okay. It's okay.
So, so we're excited to have just kind of a range of speakers and topics. And then finally, our own Lynn Sosnowski with Cornell will be there, will be here demonstrating and talking about her Weed It Amiga sprayer.
Yeah.
And so she'll be giving a presentation on some of the best practices for precision weed removal, because there's a lot to it. And, we like to think that, we can get this new technology and get it out there and it's going to be perfect. But, as with anything, there's a learning curve in properly applying this technology. And so we're really happy to have her there to talk about some of what she's learned in her years of research now, as far as precision weed removal within vineyards. So, yeah, it's a really robust day of education. There will be core credits available for our PA folks that are always
Yeah.
searching for those. There'll be two core and one category credit. And DEC, I saw our approval came through today. So, Jen, do you know what the credits are for the New York side?
I just forwarded it, but it's usually half of what you guys get. Let me just double check while you continue talking.
Yep.
Yeah. It's exciting to have three great presentations in my eyes for this event. And I think it's really important that we uh, stress that we plan this, yeah, to look at some of the future of spraying technology, but also what's currently available and yeah, maybe even some options for retrofits to people's current sprayers so that you don't have to go out and buy, uh, new pieces, expensive pieces of technology um, to get to a more precision uh, setup on your operation. It's interesting.
Yep. Yeah, and then the other half of the day is really just going to be demonstrations of those different pieces of equipment,
Yeah.
what they do, and then an opportunity to talk with the folks that use and have developed some of this technology. Just to be able to see what's happening, to ask questions directly to the experts, and just become more informed about what's available. Weather
Hmm.
permitting, we'll do some we'll break out the water sensitive paper and we'll put some cards in the canopy. Planning this in August, we have a full canopy so we can look at the difference in penetration with with these different spray systems, so we can kind of talk about what some of the pros and cons there might be. And again, weather permitting, if it ends up raining, we might have a little bit of issue using the water sensitive paper, but we'll do our best. And
Hmm.
yeah, so like I said, just an opportunity to get the stuff out in the field, to talk about pros and cons and the practicalities of what that might look like on your operation. Um, We've also, Andrew and I have been spending a lot of time developing printed proceedings for everyone that attends.
Yeah.
Something I've seen at other demonstration days is, while we get to see this technology and see what it does, it's in terms of making a decision about whether or not it would work on your operation. Um, there aren't a lot of like fact sheets and things out there. So we've been working to create a booklet with side by side or apples to apples comparisons with just the basic specs for different pieces of equipment, as well as a short article on, what questions you should be asking yourself before you decide to make a major change to your spray program with newer technology or a retrofit. So we want to make sure that everyone walks away feeling more informed and more capable of making a good decision for their operation and their circumstances. No high pressure sales, although we will have some local vendors available if you want to talk to them about, the possibility of purchasing something like this. So we will have, local vendors, some chemical company representatives, to talk about what the other parts of this, and the other parts of the decision-making process, that may be part of all this. So, trying to make it an informative and robust experience, so that everyone walks away feeling just a little bit more informed and empowered in making those decisions on their own operation.
It sounds like a really great day, Megan. It must be expensive to attend, right? It's going to cost a lot. Now
There you go.
we got to pitch this thing and
Yeah,
sell it
we
because
do, we
we're
do.
2 weeks away. We want people to sign up. It is going to be a very good day. So um, please register. We'll include it in the description of the podcast today. But definitely you can go to lergp.com or check out any of our websites to find the link to this.
Hmm.
But definitely sign up as soon as possible so we can get a good count. We're also including lunch in this day. So lunch will be catered in the middle between the tots and the demos. So we definitely need people to sign up soon so we can get a good head count. But it's $30 to attend. That includes your lunch. That includes access to all three speakers, their presentations, ability to ask questions afterwards and talk with them the rest of the day. We're going to have three different drones here. We're going to have an autonomous spray unit. We're going to have some more traditional sprayers. And like Megan said, we're going to have some vendors here with some of their wares as well. So great deal, $30, August 12th.
And
Sign up as soon as you can.
as soon as you can. And on the New York side, because we just did just get the credits this morning, they're giving at least 2.5 credits on that. So 0.75 for core, 1.75 for some categories. So yeah, you
Yeah.
get credits, you get food, you get great education and good fun hanging out with us and seeing Clairol here. So come on down.
And this is our last big event of the year, so you probably won't see a whole lot of us until after harvest. And then it'll be our What's Your Plan spray program at the beginning of December. I think will be our next public facing engagement. Am I correct?
Yeah, that is correct. First week of December, we always plan that so people can start thinking about their chemical orders for the following year. And that's based off of recent research that is going on in our region. So, yeah, well, thank you for joining us today, everyone. I appreciate that. I would like to say just to our growers in the region that Megan and I will basically be out of commission for the month of September and October. You don't want to see us anyways at that time. You guys are busy picking and running around, trying to go to different processors and whatnot. But we have our work that we're doing for the spotted lanternfly, ways to keep them out of a mechanically harvested bin. So
Technically, we'll be picking and running around too, but it'll be
yeah,
bugs, not grapes.
lots of bugs. You're welcome, listeners. You're
I guess I'll
welcome.
have to answer all the viticulture questions that come in, right?
There you go. You have our personal cells. Just give us a call. Well,
Sometimes
thank
it's
you for
nice to take a break.
absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have suggestions for anything you want to learn about on this podcast that has to do with viticulture, sometimes enology, we'll bring in some enologists and have some chats as well. Please reach us. You can find our information on either lergp.com or one of our associated websites for each university. And let us know what you want to hear. Thanks for tuning in to Between the Vines and have a safe summer.